Right, greetings, brothers. My computer just about exploded. I think I'm live. Good evening. Please give me a shout out if you can hear me okay. I was looking at lists in the folder that I always use to look for lists, and yeah, it's just something very strange happened. All the files just disappeared out of this folder. Like everything was just gone. I was looking in my recycle bin. They're not there. I don't know if I lost a list, which is annoying. That's what I was trying to find. What the hell? Good evening. I've got Nico, I've got Terence Watson, and I've got William Begley's list to look from. Back up the library. I mean, I've never had a problem before, but apparently, it was very strange. It was like, I'm just not used to Windows 11, man. It just does stuff. Anyway, okay, hopefully we're live. I don't think I've lost anyone's list. I don't have any other member lists in the queue right now. So if any members have submitted a list in the last few weeks and it's not been reviewed, then can you please just resubmit it and say you need it reviewed? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I was looking at it. I feel like I tabbed out of the folder, and when I came back, it was different. I do have a backup on like an external hard drive, but I think I've done all these. Yeah, so I don't think I missed anyone. I just freaked out that I think I lost some lists. Okay. Fucking Windows 8. Yeah, Windows 11. I still can't get the hang of the fact that the taskbar doesn't let you. You have to click, and then you have to click across. I hate that. I absolutely hate this taskbar. Anyway, okay. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. It seems like most people want to see a video on the Kratos in the near future. So I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to do something on the Kratos in the near future. The missus is doing a lot better. I was texting Colin earlier tonight to try and see. I think I'm supposed to be playing Colin tomorrow. He hasn't replied, but I did check my list earlier today, and I think it was 18 or maybe it was 23 damage weapons on my list. So I'm feeling pretty good about that now. I think I've got like 4 Death Company Thunderhammers. I've got 3 Eradicators. So that's 7. I've got 2 Thunderhammers in my Vanguard Veterans. That's 9. I've got 3 Thunderhammers in my Terminators. That's 12. I've got like 4 Infernal Pistols on the list, so that puts it up to 16. I've got a Thunderhammer on my Sergeant, so that puts it up to 17. And then I've got my Land Speeder, so that puts it up to 18. So there must be something else. But yeah, I think my list is at 18 or 20 3 damage weapons now. So running into Death Guard, that'll be really useful, but running into a tournament as well should be really useful too. Anyway, alright, let's get into it. We'll start with Terence Watkins' list today. And cool. Alright, so Terence submitted this just a couple of weeks ago, maybe? About a week ago, exactly, actually. Alright, so Terence, I made a couple of adjustments after using other lists more than a few times and made some adjustments. Can you review this one instead of the last one you commented on? Okay, so he's got Angel's Ascendant. He's running Astaroth. He's running a Chapter Master with Soul Warden, the Relic Blade, Rites of War. Okay. Visage of Death as well, I guess, because he's got Angel's Artifice on him. Alright. And then the Sangria Priest with the Chainsword and Bolt Pistol. No jump pack or any upgrades on the Sangria Priest, period. Which is interesting. We don't see that too often. I mean, I guess the main reason probably to bring the Sangria Priest is Assault Doctrine. Or that would be one of the main reasons. So, I mean, this is fine, I guess, if you're keen to get stuff into Assault Doctrine, the Sangria Priest is that. If we had the same kind of access to D3+3 that a lot of armies do you think you could reduce the number of big damage weapons in favour of more damage 1 or damage 2? It's a good question, Saibal. I mean, I think a lot of I think every other army pretty much got D3+3, maybe except Sisters of Battle. Everybody else got D3+3, so it just feels like Necrons, Blood Angels, and Sisters, the first three codexes of this edition, just missed out on the D3+3. We have Incursors ×2, we have Intercessors ×1 with the Autobolt rifles, and he's paid for the grenade launcher, which is really kind of pointless. 5 points to shoot a crack grenade. I think there's better upgrades you could pay 5 points on. An Infernal Pistol, I think, will always be better than a crack grenade, or a crack grenade at 24 inches, or whatever, you know. I think grenade launchers are... They used to be 2 points to include them in a squad. They made them 5 points. I mean, I don't even know if they were good enough at 2 points. We got Blade Guard Veterans, 5-man, just as they are. We've got Centurions with Melta-Guns, and Hurricane Bolters, 3-man squad, so it's kind of expensive if you ask me. I'm not a huge fan of 3-man Centurion squads. I mean, I have run them, and they are okay. I guess comboed with a priest, they're okay, but I do feel with Centurions you need more than 3. Unless, of course, your plan is to just reserve them and try and shoot stuff with the melta guns and make some charges. I mean, I guess that's a legitimate plan with Centurions. Death Company Marines with 5 Thunderhammers. Okay, very, very Thunderhammers heavy on the Death Company. I guess that's why your priest is here. Sangria Ancient with Selfless Valor, so he gets that 6-inch heroic intervention. An Armor Indomitus. Is Armor Indomitus wasted a little bit on the Sangria Ancient? I mean, he already has a 2-up save. I guess it gives him +1 wound in that 1 turn of 3+ in Vun. He can also heroically intervene for 6 for 1 CP. So I guess you're trying to make it so he can Angel Sacrifice for 1 CP, I guess, and try and live. I'm not sure he still lives with just a 3-up invulnerable save and 5 wounds. He's only T4. But I mean, I guess I see the reasoning behind it. I do think that the main reason to take the Sangria Ancient, though, is the Wrath of Baal, right? The Wrath of Baal is very powerful. We've got Sangria Guard, and it's 2 squads full of axes. And, I mean, 7 out of 7. 6 months ago, all axes, I would have said, are great. Now, I think all axes is probably the wrong choice, and you want to go 3 axes, 4 swords, or at least a mix. Because into Marines, or anything else that gets Armor of Contempt, your axes are going to be pretty weak now, because you're only going to be -1 AP in turn 1 and 2. Yeah, -1 because of Armor and Contempt, and then even in turn 3 or an Assault Doctrine, it's -2. So, I mean, Marines and other tough units can save that stuff pretty easily now. Highland Phoenix's the Ancient and Selfless Valor is kind of pointless with the Heroic Intervention strat. Yeah, I mean, it's a way to save you some CP potentially. Potentially, I guess. And then Angel Sacrifice. Hey Joe, good evening. Okay, so I need to stop fidgeting with that thing anyway. 2 squads of Sangria Guard of 7, 5-man squad of Death Company with hammers, the very expensive squad of Centurions with Meltas and Hurricane Bolters, Blade Guard Veterans. So you got 2 kind of slow squads, 3 fast squads. Incursors, I like. Intercessors, I think, with a Autobolt rifle and grenade launcher are average at best. The HQs are good, but I guess I'm okay with you not having a jump pack on the Sangria Priest because you've got Centurions and Blade Guards. And then the Whirlwind as well. Eradicators are better than Blade Guard Veterans these days. I mean, I'd probably argue that as well. I mean, Blade Guard are still good. They're still 3 wounds. They're still 2-up, 4-up. They can still transhuman. I mean, he's got nothing else that can get transhuman, right? I mean, short of like the Incursors or the Incessors. Are Melta Guns good enough on the Centurions? I mean, you get 6 Meltas, right, Joe? And you've got a BS of 3+, so arguably you make 4 hits. Strength 8, -4. I mean, they're not bad. There are a lot of points though, I guess. In that each Centurion, I guess, is like 75 points per model, so it's a lot to lose. I thought Centurions were pretty. When I ran Centurions, I ran them with just Flamers and no Bolters, and they're 55 points per model, and they feel like a lot to lose. Like, if you think losing a Terminator, like a Thunderhammer Terminator with a Storm Shield, is painful at 43 points, then losing a Centurion at 55 points is painful. So losing a Centurion at 75 points is crazy painful. I mean, if you can spend 1 CP with your Priest to resurrect said Centurion, though, and you get 75 points back, I mean, that's kind of huge. That will win you the game in sometimes. Because when you used to run attack bikes, when attack bikes were like 60, I think they used to be 55 points per model. They're 60 now. But if you're in a game where every turn you can resurrect a couple of attack bikes, you can sometimes just win the game because like you're putting 60 points of models back on the table every turn. It gives you an extra 300 points over the course of a game. It can be kind of huge. So yeah, I mean, that's why I like a bigger squad of Centurions, because it's harder to chew through them and kill them, and then you can put some back on the table. I think Flamers also are good in Centurions, because it kind of prevents the enemy charging them with chaff units. Repentia are always really good at killing Centurions, and Flamers, I guess, protect them from Repentia. I mean, yeah, you could possibly just keep Meltaguns on the Sergeant for maybe some sort of fingers crossed alpha strike. Okay, so you've got a Chapter Master. You can obviously buff any of the Sangria Guard. He is the Warlord. He is Visage of Death, so he is removing Obsec. He is granting a Feel No Pain aura. You've got Astrath to give you increased charge range, and he's got the 4 damage axe. You got the Priest, I guess, who's probably going to be with the Centurion. It would make sense he's with the Centurions and the Blade Guard veterans. Sort of the 2 squads of those just heading towards the middle of the board. And Cursors on the flanks, and Intercessors, I don't know, maybe they're heading towards the middle as well. I think that you're probably just better having a 3rd squad of Incursors or reserving a squad of Assault Intercessors or something like that. Death Company, great alpha strike. Sangria Ancient, maybe some concern over his Warlord traits. You also have 4 characters, which I've said before I don't like. Your 4 characters together are costing you 520 points, which seems like a lot. I think, yeah, I think spending much over 400 points on characters is typically the wrong call, in my opinion. I like the Centurions being more focused on anti-horde. I mean, they can do anti-horde and then they can punch pretty much anything in the face with their drills. And that's how I like... I mean, their drills are so darn good in that they're strength 10, minus 4, 3 damage, right? I think it's minus 4. I'm like 90% is minus 4. I'm going to check, though. Every time I search for Centurions, nothing... Oh, because it's not going to be Centurion Assault Squad. Okay, Centurion hits no matches, but Centurion Assault does. Yeah, they're strength 10 minus 4, so you're pretty much wounding everything in the game on 2s with those drills on the charge. They're flat 3 damage, and they get a good number of attacks each. So the 3-man squad between them get, what, like 16 attacks? Hitting on 3s, so you get about 12 hits, wounding on 2s. I mean, it's they pretty much kill anything that they charge, right? Like, it's almost guaranteed. So, like, if you drop Centurions in from strategic reserve, you almost don't want to shoot the Meltaguns at your charge target, because if your enemy's smart, they'll just remove some of the closest models and it'll make your charge more difficult. So 435 points on HQ is okay, Highland Phoenix. I said much over 400. I can get on board with that. I'm not on board with like 500 plus points on characters. It's too much. The game isn't about characters anymore. It's about squads. Your characters need to be there to buff your squads. I mean, typically the characters that I've run this whole edition have been all about buffing. Chapter Master with his rerolls, Librarian either with like Unleash Rage or I guess debuffing with the Null Zone and then buffing with Psychic Fortress and Mighty Heroes. then either a tech marine to buff armor or a priest to buff survivability, right? So I think you need to do that with 3 characters. I don't like 4. I think 4 is an easy assassinate pick against you, and they can almost guarantee 9 points. Because usually most people could, if they focus stuff down, they can kill 3 characters. Okay, I mean, overall it seems like an okay list. I'm probably going to say that I'm not going to score it the highest because the Blade Guard and the Assault Centurions I think I have a problem with. Possibly if you want to run them and you really want to run them good, you need to add another Centurion. You probably need to make the Centurion squad a little bit cheaper, and you probably want to run Selfless Healer, because you are 100% going to lose Blade Guards and Centurions as those things march across the board. So if they're marching across the board, you're actually going to get value out of the Selfless Healer, because there's going to be models to revive. They're 100%, right? Centurions only move 5. I mean, Blade Guard are a little better on the 6. But yeah, you're definitely going to end up leaving some of them out of concealed positions. They're going to get shot. You're going to lose some of the models, so you could arguably lose like 2 of the Hurricane Bolters and 2 of the Melta Guns and pay the points for Selfless Healer, and I think it would be totally valid. You're starting on 9 CP, so yeah, I would in this list I would actually really go Selfless Healer, because I think that I would probably. If you're not going to take Wrath of Baal and the Ancient, then I guess I don't know if I think the Ancient is worth it. I feel like you have to lose a character, and you have to either put more points into the Assault Centurions or get more 3 damage weapons into the list, because I guess your 3 damage weapons at the moment are your 5 Thunderhammers on the Death Company, which arguably will die after turn 1 if you Forlorn Fury them, and then the Centurions, and that's it. Centurions aren't really mobile. I mean, I guess you've got Astrath, and the Chapter Master has a 3 damage weapon. No, he doesn't. He has a Relic Blade. So you've got your Centurions that are bringing 3 damage weapons, but they're so immobile. And then you've got Astrath, who on his own isn't going to be amazing. I mean, his weapon's nice, but it's not like he has overwhelming number of attacks. How many attacks does Astrath get? Like, he can get like 7 with Mantra of Strength, right? 4 or 5 in the charge, 6 from Savage Echo, 7 from Mantra of Strength, and they will potentially be Strength 7 minus 3, 4 damage. So yeah, I mean, he can Astrath can do work, but it feels like you've just when I talk about having a lot of 3 damage weapons, 3 damage or more. When I talked about my list at the start of the stream, I was like, right, I got 4 hammers in the Death Company. I've got 3 hammers in the Terminator squads. I've got 2 hammers in the Vanguard Veteran squad. I've got a squad of Eradicators. I've got 2 Infernal Pistols in each of the squads of Sangria Guard. I've got an Infernal Pistol and 2 other characters. So it's just like, you can see how I can get 3 damage weapons everywhere all over the board. And in this list, if the Death Company die, then you're only going to have 3 damage weapons really on the Centurions. And they're slow and they're lumbering and they can get picked off with shooting. So, I mean, I guess I've got a problem with that. I've got 6 Terminators, 1 with heavy weapon. Do I need a 7th? Will it make any difference? I'm not sure in what context, Sellers. Selfless Valor seems like a wasted Warlord trait. Yeah, especially on a character that could pay 1 CP to heroically intervene. So at that point, you might... How many times are you realistically going to use Selfless Valor in the game? Once? If you think it's just once, then yeah, you would save the CP off your starting CP and spend it if you really need to heroically intervene. Brewing Biscuits. That's a good point. Alright, let's think about scoring on this list. So we've got 2 troop choices, and they're in cursors, and then we got the one other troop choice that is the auto bolt gun inceptors. Auto bolt gun intercessors. But what we do have is we do have Visage of Death, so we are removing OBSEC. So we can remove OBSEC. So I think it's maybe like a 9. 3 OBSEC units, we have the ability to remove OBSEC. Anti-Horde. I mean, we have a little bit of firepower into Anti-Horde with the Sangria Guard bolters, the Hurricane bolters off the Centurions, the auto bolt rifles, the Whirlwind. I feel like the Whirlwind kills nothing now. So Anti-Horde, I guess, is fine. I mean, most of the firepower is no AP. I guess the Sangria Guard are -1 AP, but I mean, I guess into Armor of Contempt, it's all basically no AP. So some anti-horde firepower. It's not amazing. We already talked about 3 damage weapons. Yes, you have, I guess, 10 of them, give or take, but they're all focused on 2 squads. I mean, just on the face of it, you could have not taken those 3 Hurricane bolters there, and you could have put like an Infernal Pistol in this squad of Sangria Guard, Infernal Pistol in this squad of Sangria Guard, Infernal Pistol in this Ancient, Infernal Pistol on your Chapter Master. I mean, the Chapter Master, actually speaking about this, he's got a Storm Shield, which is 10 points, and it's kind of wasted now, right? Because I said this last night, actually, on the painting stream. If you have a Storm Shield, you have a 2-up save, and you don't ignore AP. If you don't have a Storm Shield, you have a 3-up save, and you ignore AP -1, which means the Storm Shield only helps you against AP 0 weapons. Against AP 1 weapons, it's precisely the same. You're just saving on a 3-up. So unless your Chapter Master is getting taken down by AP 0 weapons, which feels unlikely because he's a strong-ish character. I guess he's mobile, he can be protected. He's never going to get shot by a shitload of AP 0 weapons. So you could save 10 points here and have an Infernal Pistol as well. Mikey says hello from Brome. Can't help looking at every angelic statue and shouting for Sanguinius. Hopefully you don't get arrested or something, Mikey, for being in some mad cult, but okay. Thanks for tuning in. So anti-vehicle monster in this list, I'm going to say it's like an 8.5. The Centurions on paper are good, but I think you need to try and keep them cheaper and spread some of the damage elsewhere. I mean, just dropping that Storm Shield on that Chapter Master for an Infernal Pistol would let you put an Infernal Pistol on your Sangria Ancient. Straight away you've spread out some weaponry somewhere else. Mobility... Intercessors, Blade Guards, Centurions aren't mobile, and your Priest isn't mobile. So the mobility isn't bad, but it's not amazing. And then specialization. You do have the ability to turn off Overwatch and fight. You have a fight last. You don't have denies, but you do have Soul Warden. You do have units for actions, essentially. 3 damage weapons is low. CP starting is actually really good because you had 9. Protection against mortal wounds, where you get 2 bubbles. You've got the Soul Warden bubble, and you've got the Priest bubble, but you do have 3+ characters. So specialization is coming in at like an 8. Now, I think this list could be made a lot better. Hammer of Baal instead of Armor Indomitus for my commander. I mean, I like the 3-up save, invulnerable save on Armor Indomitus on my Chapter Master, because I pretty much Angel Sacrifice him in pretty much every game. If possible, Highland Phoenix. And sometimes Angel Sacrifice him twice, I guess. And sometimes with Gift of Foresight, he might actually even survive that second time if you're lucky enough with your 4-up saves, you know? So, Jacob says, have you seen any of the new game trailers from Summer Game Fest? They talked a little bit about Space Marine 2 today. All I've heard is that there's a new Diablo game. I've been pretty busy with the kids today, so I did see a trailer last week from the Steam thing that they had going on, the Warhammer Steam Skulls thing, called Bolt Gun, and it basically looks like Doom, like the original like 1990s Doom, with a bolt gun. I actually thought it looked totally dope. That's like, yeah, I would play that in an instant. I don't know who's making it or how much it costs or anything like that, but I really like the look of it. So, okay, yeah. So this first list, Terence, isn't bad. It doesn't have any like real problems, I guess. Just it feels like you could split out some of this. And I think with the Centurions, For me, Centurions are they're trying to charge your hard targets. You don't need to melt a gun the hard targets. And if you do put them in deep strike or strategic reserve, and you do melt a gun the hard targets, any smart enemy is going to remove the closest ones and then render Centurion's charge useless. So you almost can't fire your melt guns. So you want flamers, so you can drop in or you can arrive. You can flame like a unit of chaff and then charge the harder targets, I think. And if you do start the Centurions on the board, then the Flamers give you much better charge defense than Hurricane Bolters, because Hurricane Bolters will give you, like, I guess, I mean, you will get a lot of shots, you will get like 36 shots, but you're only hitting with 6s. Whereas the Flamers will give you just 66 auto hits, which I guess averages about 21 hits. So your Overwatch will be it'll be about 3.5 times better with Flamers than it is with Hurricane Bolters. Yeah, you'll have some 6 Meltagun shots there, but maybe you're just gonna hit once. Did Steven run Meltaguns on his Centurions? I don't think he did. I think he ran the Hurricane Bolters and Flamers. I don't think he ran the Meltaguns. It's gonna be interesting. I really think I need to buy another squad of Centurions now. And if I do buy another squad, I'm definitely giving them Flamers. I feel like they're too expensive to give them Meltaguns. Stephen did Bolter and Flamers. Yeah, that's what I thought. Bruin Biscuits. Thanks for clarifying. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's get into this next list. I'm just going to move my camera a tiny bit. Better? Okay. The biggest thing they showed was Starfield and the new space Skyrim Fallout. I did like the look of that game as well, actually, Jacob. But I don't get that much time to play video games these days, so unsure if I'll be buying it. I feel like there's a video game that's out at the moment that I really want to buy and I've not got round to it. Can't remember. Okay, so Nick, well, do you know what? I bought that Grey Knights game and I've only played it 2 times on the stream, so I'd like to play that a bit more too. But I usually only take, like, well, it's the summer, so it's hard to. In Scotland, you have to enjoy the summer when you can because it doesn't last very long. All right, new list from Nico. If I can get the falchion built in time or wherever I get it done, the plan is to alpha strike a large unit of Death Company to take out any threats to the falchion and pop transports if needed. Contest objectives using Sangria, Dante, and Librarian Dread. If I don't need to cancel Psychic, 3 tactical squads to babysit objectives towards my side, while Falchion with 5++, or 5++, sorry, and Tepmarine sit in the centre of board and lock down an angle and bully the centre with flamers and large weaponry. Okay. The whole 2 days of summer we get. Do you know what? This last week hasn't been too bad, Cyble. We've had some really nice days. It's been really windy this weekend, though, so that's been a bit annoying. Don't you hate when you put a list together and you have 15 points left over, but you have nothing really worth spending them on, as you want the weapons you'd otherwise upgrade from? I mean, if you've got 15 points left over, Mike, surely you can get some Infernal Pistols in there. Surely. Okay, so this is an 8, starting with 8 CP, this list. Alright, so he's taking a Falchion, 645 points. So that's going to be Crushing Tracks, Heavy Flamer, Twin Volcano Cannon, Twin Heavy Flamer, and 2 Laser Destroyers. Okay, so he essentially has 3 Heavy Flamers, the Laser Destroyers, and the Volcano Cannon. So sort of very anti-armor, but also very decent in Overwatch. You're always going to want to Overwatch if they charge you at this point, because you're going to get, 3d6 auto hits, plus the Volcano Cannon, plus the Laser Destroyer. So you're doing wounds if they charge you. Bear in mind the Falchion is Titanic, so it can fall back and shoot. I think it can actually fall back, shoot, and charge, but someone might need to clarify that for me. It's been a little while since I played a Titanic unit. But there was a section somewhere. It's probably like in the core rules. about Titanic. It's always hard to find it, because it's not where you would think it would be. Titanic. Fall back. When a unit falls back, blah 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 blah. Units that fall back cannot shoot or manifest psychic powers this turn unless they are Titanic. Okay, so it can definitely shoot if it's fallen back, if it's Titanic. Does it? Where's the bit that says... Is there a bit that says you can charge when you're falling back when you're Titanic? I remember that you can definitely fall back and shoot, because I made the mistake of not falling back and shooting the Titanic before, and obviously because it's got that blast on the main cannon, it's really valuable if you can fall back and shoot. I guess probably you can't charge. Can you take claws and chainswords on Vanguard veterans? Yes, you can. You can take one claw and one. Yeah, units that have advanced or fallen back this round cannot charge. Okay, so you can just fall back and shoot. But I mean, with the falchion, you want to fall back and shoot. I mean, that's kind of... The charging is sort of inconsequential. Falling back and be able to shoot the twin volcano cannons blast is going to be more valuable than staying in combat. Okay. If Vanguard's safe bet on claws, maybe magnetize second arm. I mean, Vanguard's claws are a lot weaker now, Saibal. Like, way weaker. Into Armor of Contempt, the claws are just -1. It feels very weak, I guess. Okay, knights can fall back and charge because they have a rule which says otherwise. Okay, so it's just the falchion can fall back and shoot, but just fine. You're always going to want to fall back and shoot. All right, we've got Dante, who is the warlord, so we get an additional CP. We've got our Leviathan Dreadnought, our Librarian Dreadnought, Unleash Rage, Quickening, Wings, Furioso Fist, Psychic Mastery, Hero of the Chapter. I think this is a mistake, because he talked about having a 5++. The only way the Falchion has a 5++ is if your Librarian Dreadnought has Shield of Sanguinius. So I think he needs Unleash Rage, Shield of Sanguinius, and Wings of Sanguinius. Yeah. And then the Tech Marine with the Bolt Gun and Master of the Forge, so he is repairing for 3 each turn. Could even be worth giving this Tech Marine Soul Warden. So if he's camped out next to the Falchion gets a 5+++ against mortal wounds, but I suppose you could always just pay 1 CP to Armor of Contempt him and get him that anyway. If I could change my Falchion, would I? No, I don't think so, Mike, because I think I have double heavy bolter on mine, rather than the flamers. And like typically I usually have units all round the Falchion, and if people are going to charge the Falchion, like, I'm typically okay with that, because they're going to have to charge it with an awful lot of stuff to try and kill it, right? And the risk is they don't kill it. All my stuff's just going to charge them, and I'll kill everything that they charged with. So I'm actually fine having the heavy bolters. And remember, I mean, like, you do have 3 laser destroyer shots on each sponson, and you also have 2d3 volcano cannons. If they charge you, you are hitting with a couple of those. So, I mean, because it's on average, it's going to be 10 dice. So you just need to roll a couple of 6s on 10 dice, and you're going to do some killing, regardless of what's charging you. I don't think the Falchion really ever died from charges. I mean, it's toughness 8. It's got 2 up. It's ignoring AP1 now, which it wasn't when I was using it. It was much more likely that the enemy were trying to pelt it with like tons of multi-meltifier, right? What's the reason that the Librarian's Force Harbored can only attack once? I guess just because it's D3 plus 3 damage is the reason it can only attack once. Maybe if our Codex had come out tomorrow, Saibal, all the attacks could be made with it. I mean, if you look at, or maybe it's because we can get like 10 or 11 attacks on that character. They thought it was maybe too powerful, but one attack seems a bit limiting. What loadout would I take on Vanguard veterans? I mean, it's a tough call. I think Lightning Claws have got a lot worse, but I'm running some Thunder Hammers on I'm running Lightning Claws and Thunder Hammers, and I do think they've got a lot worse. I just haven't quite worked out what's better. I don't like Death Company chainswords at all anymore. Into other Marines, I guess Death Company chainswords are just getting saved on 3s, so they already weren't killing much stuff. So now it's pretty horrific. Tactical squads are fine. Tactical squad with a missile launcher, I mean, it's fine. I just think incursors are much better. We've talked at length about how I think incursors are much, much better. I'm running with the Storm Shields because I literally have the Storm Shields modelled on. My daughter's up. I'll be right back in 1 sec. Yeah, I mean, Storm Shields. I mean, there's something to be said about still having a 4-up and Fun save, right? You could save 5 points per model on the Vanguard veterans and not have them. If I had guys that weren't modelled with Storm Shields, and just maybe gave them a. Because you could arm them with like a Thunder Hammer and Chainsword, I think. To get 5 extra attacks with the Chainsword, you could be 25 points cheaper. I mean, maybe that's tempting. So I suppose it depends on if you ever throw your Vanguard veteran squad into an enemy character that's on like a high AP, like -3 or something, or even -4, like Chaos Demons or something. Sometimes having that 4-up and Fun can be worth it. Hard to say. I still don't know if I know what the strongest list for Armor of Contempt is. But I mean, I'm going to GT next Saturday, so I'll let you know how I feel out after that. Also, how terrible have the Primaris Assault Marines become now? Like, anything that is stuck using a chainsword is just so meh. Outrider squads. Yeah, I mean, they are kind of terrible. What about power swords on the veterans? Yeah, I mean, power swords would be fine. The additional AP would be pretty nice. Do you think, would I pay 10 points to make the Tech Marine Primaris here? Typically, I usually do like to pay the 10 points. I think you actually get a lot of you get a lot out of your Tech Marine for 10 points, right? You get like +1 attack, you get +1 wound, you get 2 additional attacks with the Mecha Dendrites, you get. Maybe you get something else, but yeah, and I mean, I guess you get. I think. Oh yeah, it's the Forge Bolter that you get as well, which lets you advance and shoot. It's basically a heavy bolter, but 3 shots, and it's an assault weapon. So the Primaris Tech Marine, point for point, the 10 points you pay on him is well worth it. Yes. Okay, I mean, 2 tactical squads here. These would be better than cursors. We then have a giant Death Company squad. Holy shit! 5 Thunder Hammers and 5 Chainsword and Infernal Pistols. So yeah, really going all in on this Death Company. He's got the Wrath of Baal here as well. So if he's going first, the Death Company are just going to go ham, try and take out whatever big enemy threat that the enemy has that could potentially deal with a falchion. And then he's going to hopefully just shore up the game. He only has, the only other jump unit he has is 7 Sangria Guard. That's the whole list. So I can tell you right now, I don't like this list, and I've got a few reasons why. Nucky can put 5 power swords on my Death Company. I'm gonna maybe put 5 axes. Are the axes worth it now, Nucking, with the reduced AP? Mike says I'm starting to regret gluing the arms of my Vanguard veterans. Yeah, I'm regretting some of my Vanguard veteran choices as well, because I think I made 20 with Storm Shields. So I literally have 20, and I magnetized some of the weapon arms so I could swap out like Infernal Pistols, but most of the Storm Shields are magnetized. Or not magnetized. Did I give in an Order of the Horus Heresy box? No. I'm trying to win a box on eBay of other Warhammer stuff. I'm going to try and win that box first, and then maybe I'm going to give the Horus Heresy box a purchase. So the Horus Heresy box is maybe a couple of months down the line for me, Mike. I do like the look of it. I do think I would make most of the stuff, and it is good value for money, because I think if you bought those Relic Terminators, you'd be like £40 just for 5 Relic Terminators. So if you can get the box for like £136, you're basically just buying the tank and the 2 squads of Relic Terminators, and then you're getting the Dreadnought and 40 other Tactical Marines for free. And then the rules and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing Heresy, but yeah, I mean, on this list though, come back to the fact that I think that you can't possibly take 4 characters with a falchion. I mean, you can barely afford 3 characters with something like that expensive. When I ran it, I didn't even give my librarian. So I ran Commander Dante, a Tet Marine. I did go for the cheaper Tet Marine when I ran the Falchion. Commander Dante, a Tet Marine, Librarian Dreadnought, and I didn't even give the Librarian Dreadnought Chief Librarian. I think I just ran him with Unleash Rage and Shield of Sanguinius. So I mean that would give you so lose the Ancient, right? But I guess like the point of this build maybe is that the Ancient gives the Death Company +1 to hit, so the Death Company are killing whatever they hit. I mean, you talk about putting your eggs in one basket. You've got 2 baskets in this list. I've seen someone reselling the Terminators for £20 on eBay. Yeah, I mean, I use a website called Bits and Kits, I think. If you're in the UK, you can check them out. Is this the website? Maybe it wasn't this website. They emailed me about it. Hold on. I'll find it. Bits. Oh, it was. Bits and Kits. Oh, no, it wasn't. Okay, there was another website I used previously to buy parts. I'm forgetting what their website's called now. But I linked it in the members room of the Discord. They were selling the 5 Relic Terminators for £18, and they were selling the Plastic Spartan for £50, which I thought were both really, really decent. Do you know what? I guess if I go to Discord and just search like £18, I don't know how many times that would be mentioned in Discord. Would that be mentioned a lot? Let me see. Can you do £18? Can you do like from? Why does £18 match 18? That's not why I searched. I guess you. It's probably going to be it. Oh, there you go. Relic Terminator is £18. Where is it? This website. Bits and Kits. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, I mean, if you want individual bits in the UK, the 5 Cataphractes are. Oh, they're sold out already. Tactical Marines for £18. The characters for £17. But yeah, I mean, keep an eye on this website. They actually had like 60. They had like there was like 56 in stock when I looked at it or when I linked it, like because it tells you how many's in stock. How many of the tactical marines they got in stock? Like 26. Yeah, so you can get some great deals on those Horus Heresy boxes, I guess. Um, when was the last time you used a friggin' flamer template? How are they selling stuff already? Well, I guess they've pre-ordered a bunch of boxes, and the second they get them, they're going to break them down and send them out. Yeah, you've put like so many eggs into the Death Company, and so many eggs into the Faction. I mean, you're going to need, if you don't go first, you're going to need those two things to do so much work for you. When I ran this, I ran like an equal size squad of Sangria Guard, Vanguard veterans, and Death Company. I did run incursors, and I kept my librarian cheap. I mean, we can score the list. This is one of those lists where, like, if you go first and the opponent are not deployed particularly well, and you can make that turn one Death Company charge, and then you can follow it up with anti-firepower of the Falchion, you can win the game in turn one. But I also think you can potentially lose the game in turn one if the enemy can kill your Falchion, if the enemy can screen the Death Company, you're maybe going to have a very, very difficult game. Why buy the Cataphract Drape when you can buy the Crimson Paladins? Yeah, how much are the Crimson Paladins? Don't even come with the right weapon options, though, right? So like you can't even really run them in unless you change them. I think playing something like a Falchion, you almost want to slow play a little bit more than this. In that, like, the Falchion lives in turn one. You go first. The Falchion shoots out some enemy armor. Assuming that you don't split fire too heavily, you're going to kill enemy armor. Like, you can probably realistically kill something that's got 12 or something wounds with the laser destroyers, and you can kill something else that's got like 12 wounds with volcano cannon, and then you can split your heavy bolters into both just to try and do a little bit of chip damage. And you can advance up the board, or you can move up the board. In turn two, if they haven't killed the Falchion, you pay the CP to put it back onto full profile. If it's not there already, you make the Tech Marine make it stronger again, and then you do the same again. So, I mean, the Falchion can kill. It kills 400 points of units in turn one, it kills 400 points a unit in turn two, and then you're set up to charge all across the board. I don't know if you have to go as ham as this. I certainly wouldn't go like this. But if you go like this and the enemy doesn't expect your turn one charge and you make it, yeah, you literally could win the game in turn one. The Death Company kill the big anti-tank thing that they have that's 400 points, and the Falchion kills 400 points of other stuff, and then they're screwed. If we get Assault Primaris with jump packs, what do you think they need to be good? Says Jacob. They need to have weapon options. And more than like the weapon options that we've been given to previous Primaris units where you can take one Thunderhammer in the squad. Because that shit is so lackluster, it's beyond reasoning, I guess. Like, that's why we never see Primaris Death Company. Horus Heresy has the diagram thing for tanks. I actually don't know. I will get the box at some point, so I guess I will know when I get the box. I mean, when I eventually get the box, I can do a video on it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a few months for me. I mean, I'm about to go to GT with like very borderline battle ready stuff. Like my stuff could easily use another 50 hours of painting, I guess. All right, let me score this list. OBSEC, I guess you can have an 8. I mean, you've got 3 OBSEC units. They're tactical squads. I don't love tactical squads. You guys know this. Anti-horde firepower is very, very slim. I I mean, maybe if you had the 3 heavy bolters on the falchion, you add a little bit of anti-horde firepower, but overall, I mean, anti-horde firepower is probably quite slim, even if you did that. So a 7. Anti-monster, I mean, yeah, I mean, a death company with all these thunder hammers it's great. It just needs to be able to make the charge into what it needs to make. If it can make that charge, then it's brilliant. If it can't make the charge, you're in a tough spot. But the falchion is very good at killing vehicles and monsters as well. So let's say 9.5. Mobility wise is like a 6 or 7. 3 tactical squads, not mobile at all. I guess the falchion can move 10, right? So, I mean, it's reasonably mobile. I think it moves 10. It's been a while since I played it. My question is, what secondaries are you picking with this list as well? Because I think when I'm making a list to take to a tournament, I think secondaries are important to, like, plan your list around 2 or 3 secondaries, right? I mean, the falchion's killing stuff, yes. The Death Company are killing stuff, yes, but, like, so what secondaries are we going for beyond that? Yeah, it's a 10-inch move in the falchion. So, I mean, mobility would be like a 7. You're not going to really be able to do NAC1 data. You're not really going to be able to do engage in all fronts. You're not really going to be able to do relentless assault. So, I mean, secondaries around this, I don't think you can really do psychic ones with just the one librarian. You're needing him to cast powers. So, yeah, I like to pick my list. I like to pick secondaries. I like to know what secondaries my list is going to be good at. I'm not 100% sure. Mark says Crimson Paladins, Model, Blood Angels, Blade Guard Veterans better. I think I probably agree with that. I mean, they've got the swords and the shield, right, which would make more sense. How are you going to handle all the queued up lists if the new chapter approved comes out? I mean, we should probably just do a hard reset, Mark. There's so many lists that are sold at this point. Because I've been doing members lists since Armor of Contempt came out. I don't think I've done any non-member lists on the channel, and I've barely been able to keep up. I think I've only just finally actually caught up now, and we're probably going to get another wave of member lists when Chapter Approved comes out. If Chapter Approved changes anything, because last time we were hoping that really hoping that Chapter Approved was going to do more for Blood Angels, right? And it did very, very little. You know, I guess there's so many units still within the Space Marine Codex that are just junk, like absolute junk, like Predators, like the one thing that I saw was, I don't know if you guys saw this, on the new Karn the Betrayer data slate, Karn's plasma pistol no longer kills himself. It just does a mortal wound to the bearer. So could that be that Mephiston's pistol no longer kills him? Because that would be good, right? Dante's going to feature a lot more. Yeah, I mean, especially if CP is going to be tough, Dante's probably going to feature more. I might actually play Dante. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, I think it's a lot of eggs in one basket here, or 2 baskets. We don't have a fight last. We do have a couple of denies. We do have units for actions. We do have 3 damage weapons. CP was actually fine because we've got Dante in this list. Protection against mortal wounds. We don't have any, but we could take someone the Tech Marine if we wanted. And 3+ characters. Well, we do have too many characters, so I think this list is like an 8. Nico, I think there's probably a bit of room there to make that list quite a bit better. But I mean, I suppose it depends on how. If you just want to go to a tournament where you have a chance of winning every game if you go first, it's super wishful thinking, says Mike on the plasma. Well, how come Chaos is Karn? Karn actually used to have a rule that he had, when he shot the pistol, he had to overcharge it, and if it overcharged, he killed himself, right? So the fact that he doesn't Karn has always had a rule like that. No, he doesn't. He used to 100% kill himself. And I'm now that we're talking about it, you're making me question it. But I'm pretty sure Karn killed himself on his pistol previous. I mean, Wikipedia will probably actually have it because it won't be updated yet, right? Apparently, I can't spell the names of anybody. Who's he going to be under? He's going to be under World Eaters. Where are they? Chaos Space Marines, I guess. Oh, he's got an apostrophe in his name. Okay. Oh, really? I was convinced that he killed himself. Or has this been updated already? Because this... It looks updated because it doesn't mention anything about having to fire the pistol on high power, and it doesn't even have a high power version of the pistol actually. So this must have already been updated. I might be able to get Karn the... We may be able to change this to 9th edition. Someone who's got the Chaos Space Marine books, check it for me if you can. Oh, it doesn't kill him. Maybe, John. Maybe you're right. How come his pistol then doesn't kill him? Come on. I really think that the Space Marine Codex 2.0 needs to fix that, because with Inceptors, I think it's just so stupid to lose a 60-point model from a roll of a 1. I mean, Tau Plasmas just do 3 damage a shot, and they don't, and nobody dies from them. All right, let's have a look at William's list. And this will be an older list. I think Mark's probably right. I think when the new chapter approved comes out, we'll just get everybody. We'll just get everybody to everyone that wants a list review. We'll just have to resubmit. I don't have that many in the queue from. I have none in the queue from members at the moment, anyway. So. He still needs to fire overpowered. It just does a bit more in the new rules. Okay. Well, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I do think that plasmas need to be improved. Who knows? I mean, chapter approved has been a letdown the last 2 times it's come out, in my opinion. So I'm not excited. I'm not hoping for anything in chapter approved. If we get something, it's a bonus. Alright, so here's a Flesh Tearers list. We haven't done one of these for a while, so this should be fun. 2,000 points, 8 CP. He's got Seth, Merciless Butcher and the Warlord. He's got Primaris Chaplain, Mantra of Strength, Canticle of Hate, Master of Sanctity, Icon of the Angel. He's the Wise Orator. We've got the Sangria Priest with the Jump Pack Selfless Healer. He's actually running the Flesh Tearers Chainsword, the Severer. And he's the hero of the chapter. That's interesting. The Severer on a Sangria Priest. God damn it. Like, the search box in Wikipedia is just not working tonight. Severer. It's not even on this list because this is Blood Angels and I want to see Flesh Tearers. Where's Flesh Tearers? Here we go. Okay. So he's got +2 strength, -2, 2 damage, unmodified rules of 5+, take a mortal wound. So you're going to get like 6 attacks? No, 5 attacks. 5 attacks, 5+s do mortals. I mean, it's comparable to the Teeth of Terra. I actually think I prefer the Teeth of Terra here, but I guess you can do a mortal or something. It's fine. 2 squads of assault intercessors and a squad of bolt rifle intercessors. And I don't know why would you not run incursors for flesh tearers, because it's flesh tearers. You want to be further forward. You want to be deploying. Oh, and he's got a hand flamer and a thunderhammer on this. Interesting choice. But I do think flesh tearers, they're all about getting into combat earlier. So I think incursors are better than intercessors, hands down. Yes, they can't have the power fist, but I mean, the forward deploy probably makes up for that. We got Blade Guard. We get Death Company with 1 Thunderhammer and Chainswords. I do think the 1 Thunderhammer squad is questionable now with the AP reduction from Armor of Contempt. We've got 3 Sangria Guard. They're all small. All swords with 1 Power Fist. They're all 5-man squads. I mean, 5-man isn't the end of the world. We have a large squad of Inceptors with plasmas, and then we've got Eradicators. Okay. I mean, it feels to me like you've got the Selfless Healer in there for your Blade Guard and your Inceptors. You got 4 jump units and they're all 5-mans, which is not bad. I think the thing you want in Flesh Tearers is that you want to get into combat as early as possible. So I think this list to me feels a little bit more like a Blood Angels list, where like you're just going to get into combat in turn 2, or maybe you can get the Death Company into combat in turn 1 or something. Yeah, Mephiston's Plasma Pistol and Dante's Pistol actually used to have special names, right? Both of them did. Maybe Mephiston's was just a mastercrafted pistol, but Dante's was like the per edition pistol, and it was basically the first infernal pistol that ever came into Warhammer 40,000, right? Okay, so I mean, I like Seth. I think he's a great character, but like you've got no way of delivering him in this list. Like I think if you want to run Seth, you probably need a drop pod, right? And then at that point, you probably need some things that go in the drop pod, like Death Company without jump packs, or Company Veterans, or yeah, Company Veterans, Death Company, and Seth. I mean, all these things synergize, I would say. Running multiple Death Company and Flesh Tearers is the way to do it along with Seth. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think you can deliver, like, enemies know how strong Seth is in combat. They know he gets to fight twice. They know he gets, like, +1 damage for Flesh Tearers models around him. So he synergizes really well with, like, Lightning Claw guys, because all your Lightning Claws can become 2 damage, or your Lightning Claws can become 2 damage. I guess you synergize okay with Chainswords as well, but yeah, I mean, I think you need a way to deliver Seth. I would probably drop like an Inceptor and maybe like 1 Sangria Guard, take a drop pod, and maybe make this like 2 squads of 7. That would be fine with me. I'd also get some Incursors, so we've got some forward deployment. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the main thing that I would do probably. I mean, the reason to run multiple Death Company, as Highland Phoenix says, is 1 Death Company could fall on Fury, the other Death Company could be in the drop pod. So there's strength there as well. But yeah, I mean, I think you want an Alpha Strike with Seth. I think if you can't do that Alpha Strike and they're just walking across the board, I don't know why you wouldn't just play Blood Angels, because Blood Angels are probably better at getting across the board with all our jump units than Seth will ever be with his 6-inch move on Seth, I imagine. Alright, let me put some scoring down for this one. And I think, yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks to just tell you that Seth isn't good without a drop pod, but I think that's kind of the bottom line. Obsec holding, I guess, is fine. It's like an 8.5. I do think you would be better off with Incursors here, possibly 2 squads, gives you some nice forward deployment for Flesh Tearers. Forward deployment Flesh Tearer synergizes with a drop pod as well, right? So you forward deploy, you just overload the enemy with threats in turn 1. You have Incursors charging, you have Death Company for on Fury, you have Death Company out of the Dreadnought. Anti-Horde firepower is average. I mean, I guess you've got 15 bolters from the Sangria Guard and like some other insequential bolt fire, so I think it's like a 7. 3 damage weapons on this list. It's pretty low. You've got the Eradicators. And you've got Seth. And you've got the Chaplain. Yeah, I mean, 3 damage weapons on this list is really low, actually. A couple of Infernal Pistols. So it's like 7 3 damage or more weapons. I'm reckoning 15. I feel confident in my list. I think that I said has like 18, so I'm going to say like it's an 8 for anti-monster. Need more Infernal Pistols, need more Thunder Hammers. Reziel often says hammers are my melta, so think about that, I guess. Mobility-wise, it's poor. I mean, no drop pod, no forward deploy. Yeah, on my other stuff can move around, sure, but no drop pod and no forward deploy, I think, are the 2 things that stand out against me. And then no repositioning of your troops, really, which I often find is very useful for scoring points as well via the Incursors. We've no way to cancel Overwatch or fight last. We've no denies. I mean, we do have units for actions, but it's okay. 3 damage weapons is low. CP is decent. Protection against mortal wounds is okay from the priest, and then 3 characters is okay as well. So yeah, this is like a 7 as well. I'll give 7.5. I'm feeling generous on this last list, William, but I think this is definitely the weakest of the 3 lists we looked at today. And I think that it's just the synergies. If the new Demos Rhino can carry 12 models and 40k, you can transport Seth plus 5 Terminators. Terminators can't go in Rhinos. Sellers, unless the Demos Rhino has some special rules. I mean, I guess the Demos Rhino never had 40k rules before, huh? Or was it in dedicated transport? No, it just didn't have rules before. Okay, so I think Terence's list today was the strongest, and it could actually be improved fairly easily. Nico's list is one and done style. Maybe you win the game, and basically that 50-50 roll on the first turn will determine whether you win the game, I think. Or if your opponent can't hurt you in first turn, I guess you could still win the game pretty effectively. And then Williams' list, I do think they've discontinued Seth's model now. So, like, is Seth going to come back with a jump pack? If he comes back as Primaris, then the only way you're going to be able to deliver him is an Impulsor. So Seth is a bit of a question mark for me right now. Right now, you need a drop pod, I think. I mean, maybe you could use a Rhino, but I think the drop pod's the safer of the 2 plays. What's my thoughts on the Kratos tank? I'll be doing a video on the Kratos tank soonish, I think. I've had a few people have talked about he's not discontinued, he's rotated out, says Mike. I think he might be coming back as Primaris. I'm actually surprised we didn't see more. I'm surprised we didn't see any other. I mean, Corbulo got rotated out, right? Like, so maybe we're going to get Primaris Corbulo. Corbulo makes no sense at the moment anyway, because he needs a jump pack. He can't compete. You know, if we got Corbulo back with a jump pack, would that make people happy? Like, is that something that we think would help? But yeah, I think I need to make a video on the Kratos tank. I might not make like a full tactics video on it, but I might put something together. Corbulo's Warlord trait is terrible for him. Yeah, I mean, it's a great Warlord trait. It just doesn't make sense on Corbulo, right? But yeah, I think we can definitely look at that tank. because a bunch of people asked about the Kratos. I guess they want to know if they think it's worth buying. So I'll see if I can make a video on that, and then I might make a video on like prepping, because I've got a tournament on Saturday this week. So I might have a video out on Friday about how to prep or some tournament style stuff. I'm trying to think. I haven't decided what I'm doing, and I know I'm not going to have a lot of time, and I want to prep for the tournament as well. So Mike has a serious question. All right, we'll wait for your serious question. Do you like how the Kratos tank looks? I mean, I looked at it briefly. Like, it's let's have a look. It looks a lot like a Sicarian, right? Is it a Sicarian chassis? Or is a Sicarian with a... Does it actually come with the... It does come with the... what am I trying to say? The ram thing? It's bigger than a Sicarian? I mean, it looks very similar. I mean, I don't like this yellow paint job on it. I mean, that... They're not a very strong chapter, are they, those Imperial Fists? It's a fat Sicarian? Alright, okay. It's a bit fatter. I mean, it's cool. It's cool enough. It's nice to see a new hull. It'd be nice if it, I mean, it can't be any less competitive than the Gladiator tanks, right? You know, like the shoulder weapons? These little, like, point stubbery things? Yeah, I mean, I'd get one of these. I think it looks cool. I'd give it, like, a 8 out of 10, maybe? I got no problem with it. I actually like how it's got a little, battle ramp on it as well. I do like that big Volkite cannon on top as well, actually. Yeah, I think it's cool. T8, 18 wounds, 320 points. I mean, the main thing I like is that it's not the damn Forge World, and I don't need to get out my saw from the DIY box to assemble it. And what do you get transfer-wise? Oh, you just get Imperial Fists. Oh. Okay. I mean, these transfers always confuse me, right? How, like... They should just sell the transfer sheets separately at a reasonable price, as opposed to, like, some boxes having them and other boxes not having them, and your army sometimes just getting shafted, right? Alright, well, we'll make a video on the Kratos, no problem. Something, it might be smaller, it might be bigger, we'll see how I'm feeling and see what my time's like this week. They do sell them individually? Yeah, Forge World sell a transfer sheet, but GW don't sell one, as far as I'm aware. And the Forge World one is kind of different from what you would expect for GW ones, right? Yeah, I mean, I've got one of the Horus Heresy ones. I mean, it was expensive. But I mean, it does have a lot of transfers. It just has different transfers than what you might expect. So you end up on eBay for transfers. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I think I'm going to be live tomorrow. I will post the video as soon as I know, once I hear back from Colin. Yeah, he hasn't replied to me. But final question then, before we end tonight's stream. Who has been watching Warhammer Community today? And who... Does anyone have any idea what this is? Prepare your brushes. July. There's a little video here, and when you watch it, it shows like a grey space marine walking along, and it's like he's getting paintballed or splattered or something. Have I put Deathwatch shoulder pads on any models yet? Yes, I put one on a Death Company guy that I cobbled together with lots of parts. You're intrigued by the paint teas. Yeah, I mean, they made a big deal about contrast paints, and like, I guess I'm not really a fan of contrast. I've used it a little bit, but really not a fan. So I'm confused what this will be. You think it'll be new metallic paints? Yeah, I really don't know. July, I guess. So we shouldn't have long to wait. They require a white piece coat, and they're out next month. Okay. I guess we'll find out. Alright guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow, and then I am on a tournament next Saturday, so I will share some details of that. And hopefully we'll do pretty well. I guess we'll see. It's basically my first tournament in over 6 months. So I feel rusty. Even though this chapter approved book has been out 6 months, I feel like I still feel rusty. I guess just having the second kid really young, keeping me busy. But yeah, alright, I'll catch you guys soon. I will make a video on the Kratos tank. If there's anything else you want me to look at, leave me a comment. I'd start writing up my playbook for each army at the tournament. Yeah, I'll see if I can get a list actually this week of what's going to be at the tournament and figure it out from there. Alright, good night guys. Thanks again. Peace.